Hello everybody! Welcome again to another Magic Duels gameplay video. I am East Guru and today I'm looking at kind of a landfall slash sacrifice deck kind of thing. Kind of a mix, a variety mix, I guess you could call it, because a lot of the decks I try to make for multiple situations. But let's look at the cards here. We have the Sage Lifecrafter, which is a pretty powerful human artificer. Can create a 1/1 servo, and then later you can create an XX creature tokens, where X is the number of creatures you control. And I'll try to show off how powerful this creature really is. It is legendary, so you only get one of them on the field at a time, sadly, but I'm running 2 in the deck, so. And we've got a Jadi Offshoot for kind of an early defender and a little bit of extra life gain with landfall, because we do have a landfall theme going here. We've got the Gnarlwood Dryad, a nice 1/1 death touch, so good for holding off big creatures, and it does get bigger if you reach Delirium. It doesn't always happen, but it can. Primal Bellows, of course, is great in a mono-green deck here, because all creatures get +1/+1 for each forest. And, of course, Might of the Masses as well, as another one that +1/+1 for each creature, and this deck produces lots of creatures. Of course, the Sylvan Advocate, always a staple. Just great value. A Vigilance 2/3 for only 2 mana, and it gets bigger as there's more lands. So just always a good deal. The Rot Shambler, this is one of our sacrifice payoffs. It gets +1/+1 whenever another creature dies, and we'll be sacrificing some of our creatures. The Evolutionary Leap. This used to be an epic card that people feared, where you can sacrifice a creature and you get to basically, find bigger ones or better ones. Not always, but quite often. And you can chump and then sacrifice as well. And of course that triggers the Rot Shambler every time you sacrifice a creature. Plummet is always in a green deck that I make, just because it's a good way to get rid of any flyer, especially if the deck struggles to deal with flyers. One-off of Swell of Growth, a little bit of mana ramp, can surprise +2/+2 one of your creatures, and you can put an extra land in. We have Nissa, of course, the green planeswalker that'll get you another forest. Once again for more landfall synergies, and just a great planeswalker all around. Pretty good skills. As always, the Tireless Tracker is a great one in a mono green deck, and for landfall as well. Even though it doesn't say landfall, it still has a landfall ability. Bloodbriar is another one of our nice sacrifice creatures that gets bigger as we sacrifice things. The Pulse of Marasa is a one-off just to get maybe something really valuable back from the graveyard and gain 6 life, in dire straits. Nissa's Pilgrimage, a good way to grab 2 or 3 more lands out of the deck and use those for your landfall synergies. Now here's one of our payoffs from Beyond. This creates a 1/1 Eldrazi every single turn. We're not going to be using the sacrifice ability to sacrifice this enchantment. You want to keep it, but we're going to sacrifice the 1/1 Eldrazis as mana. And use that mana, as we sacrifice them, and then of course all of our creatures get pumped up. And hopefully you can see the synergy there. The Verdurous Gear Hulk is a great construct. 5 mana for technically an 8/8 trample, depending on where you put your +1/+1 counters. There's 4 of them. But usually we just put them all on this one creature for a nice big trampler. Here's another of our landfall payoffs, Zendikar's Royal, and this one also creates 2/2 green elemental creatures whenever land enters. Pretty pricey, but once again, it's just producing lots of creatures every turn. We can sacrifice those to make the other ones bigger. Nissa, Vital Force, is our other green planeswalker. Want to make sure you don't have both of these on the field at the same time, or else you have to get rid of one of your planeswalkers. And some of our big curve toppers here, the Ulvenwald Hydra. This is a reach creature, so good for blocking flyers, and it's usually pretty big, because its power and toughness is the number of lands you control. And you get to search up a land for free pretty much when it comes in. So you get your extra land and your extra land trigger. And then finally, our other big creature is an Oran Reef Hydra, which has landfall as well. And if the land is a forest, which they pretty much always are, you put 2 1/1 counters on it instead. And it has trample, so it gets a +2/+2 every time a forest enters. And of course, the deck is pretty much all forests. We have 21 forests. And 2 Westvale Abbeys, of course, just an awesome card that transforms into Ormondal, the Profane Prince, whenever you sacrifice 5 creatures. And we got plenty of creatures to sacrifice to transform this into an indestructible lifelink haste, flying, just horrific, scary thing. So that's our kind of landfall deck with a little bit of sacrifice synergy in it. Let's try out some games and see how the deck performs. And then we'll have some Two-Headed Giant. So as always, I'll do maybe 2 or 3 games here to kind of demonstrate how the deck works. And then we'll play it in Two-Headed Giant with a partner. I'll be joined by Wild Boar today, and we'll see how it works in a 2-player situation. Now, this hand I kept wasn't the best because there are only 2 lands. But I'm just hoping I draw more. Okay, good. Mostly I kept it because Nissa. And I need 3 mana. 3 mana to activate, so I'll just go ahead and attack this turn. But yeah, often if I have Nissa in the opener, 2 lands is possibly a keeper, because Nissa automatically gets you another land. Even though you don't always want to play her on turn 3, because then she's susceptible to removal. But yeah, she does provide you with another land, so... Oh, hey, we got the other Nissa. But I'm going to go ahead and play this out, because this is my only 3-drop. And grab my free land, just to be sure I have 4 for next turn. So I can play From Beyond. Might take some damage here in the meantime. This 2/1 and crop guy. 3/3 trample. Well, at least he'll be tapped for a couple turns here. And then of course this deck is a little slow to get started. That's why there's some life gain built in to kind of catch up. But yeah, we want to get the From Beyond going as soon as possible. Because not only does this make creatures, 1/1 Eldrazi Scion tokens, it also, you know, is technically making mana for you. Because the 1/1 Scions you can sacrifice for mana. So it's a mana producer and a creature token producer. Now we've got it going, so I can start creating chump blockers. These threshing lizards can be nasty if our opponent empties his hand. So could play out the Planeswalker or our Gear Hulk. The Gear Hulk could be a pretty good blocker here. Just not sure where to put the +1/+1 counters. We can also do this and create a servo. I think I'll go ahead and do that. And I'm going to save my Primal Bellows here and my Might of the Masses. Maybe do some surprise blocking. And maybe take out a few of his creatures. Usually I use the pump spells to save my creatures. And yeah, he's going to pump all his creatures, give them vigilance. So yeah, I'm glad I saved these. So let's go ahead and pump these up. Yeah, it's a lot of damage. So we can take out this one. Go ahead and prevent the trample. Doesn't really matter, I guess. And create another Scion. Okay, there's our Pulse of Marasa. So there's 6 life. If I need it. And can get something back from the graveyard. Let's go ahead and get Planeswalker out here since there isn't a whole lot of pressure on the board. Don't really have anything to get back with the Pulse of Marasa, but I could play this because I actually have 3 mana available right now. Yeah, I guess we'll start beating down here. Need to make a little bit of progress, or start making progress. Like I said, this deck is a bit slow, but it's really powerful when you get started, and you know, you can pretty much hold off most onslaughts. Compulsory Rest on the land. Since that's a 5/5, that's not going to do much, I don't think. I can sacrifice it to gain 2 life, but yeah, this is going to become a forest at the end of turn. So I think that Enchantment Curse, preventing it from attacking, is just going to fall off. Yeah, so that didn't do a whole lot, since it just became a land again and not a creature, and so the enchantment just fell off. Go ahead and get the Gear Hulk out here. It's always a question, what's the best thing to put the counters on, but a lot of times I just put them on the Gear Hulk here for an 8/8 Trampler, but you know, you can always spread out the counters. And Nissa's ability makes sure to tap a untapped land. Don't really want to create a servo and waste my Scions. So the Scions are great because I can do the Crafter's other ability, which costs a little bit more, but I can make an XX construct depending on the number of creatures we have. And of course, the Scions, the 1/1s, count as extra creatures. So a 2/2 flyer, no big deal. But this 8/8 is pretty much going to hold off any ground attacks. And I can start producing big constructs. Ooh, nice play by the opponent. Plays that card last, so doesn't have to sacrifice, or not sacrifice, discard anything. Swell of Growth is kind of late to the party. I can use it when I grab my 2 lands, though. Well, let's go ahead and pay 5. And we'll make a 7/7 construct. And of course, next turn, technically that's 7/7. You can make another one, but it'll be 8/8. Since you have an extra creature, actually it'll be a 9/9 because we're creating an extra Scion every turn. So every turn you get a creature that's twice as, or 2 times bigger. See, the emblem on there is reasonable, but I think I just like making 5/5s. So he can double block my land, but that's... wow. Okay, well, that's fine too. We'll use Swell of Growth on it. A little bit of a waste because I don't get the full value from it, but wipe his board. And he's gonna make a zombie. I can use Pulse of Marasa to get my giant back. And he's only got one card in hand, and we're just producing extra creatures every turn. So I went ahead and got the emblem just for fun. Let's create another Scion, get this over with. A lot of times the crafter is my win condition because you just start creating these large constructs, and I mean he's gonna chump, but next turn I'll be attacking with 2 of them, and then the next turn 3 of them, etc. And pretty soon it overwhelms your opponent pretty quick. So that 1/2 life crafter is not to be underestimated. So he can create another chump blocker, which it looks like he's gonna do. And he's still got 1 card in hand. Not sure what that is. But yeah, with this deck, once you get one of the 2, producers out there, the token producers, it's pretty much you can take over from there. So let's gain 6 life. We'll get our giant back. Play out the Abbey, draw a card. Oh, see, oops. Yeah, here's the situation. I have to sacrifice one of the Nissas now. Now that I have 2 Nissa Planeswalkers. Sadly, in this format, you can only keep one of the, the actual Planeswalkers. Of course, if you had a different one, let's go ahead and create another big token here. If you have like, Liliana, for example, or a Johnny, of course, all those Planeswalkers you can have, but you can't have 2 Nissas. Even though the 2 Nissas are different and they have different names, you can't actually have 2 Nissas on the field at the same time. And I don't think that's a standard rule. I'm not sure. I would have to look at the rule book. But I think it's only really in this format. And anyway, it kind of makes sense. I mean, you can't really have Nissa twice because there's only 1 Nissa. Unless you want to argue some kind of multiverse crap or something, but yeah, there's only 1 real Nissa that you can have at a time, technically. Because Nissa does not have clones. There's just 1. But anyway, just keep in mind that interaction. A lot of people don't realize it. Jaddy Offshoot's a little late to the party. Would have been gaining me a lot of life if it was out here. But yeah, I went ahead and kept my other Nissa just to show it off. And creating some more big creatures. Go ahead and end this with our large constructs we'll be making. You can see there's a 10-10 there for next turn. So a little slow, but easy. Let's try another one. All right. Yeah, once again, this deck is a little slow, so the rounds are a little bit longer. I'm going to go ahead and keep this, even though that's kind of land heavy. But I got the Planeswalker once again, and an offshoot to start with. That's not what I wanted to draw. Against something blue, so it could be some counter spells. And yeah, I have like a lot of people in the comments like saying like, wow, these games are really slow or dragged out. And it's like, yeah, that's because the opponent does not quit. Whereas in Magic Arena, you know, the games are over in like a couple minutes, sometimes 30 seconds, because the opponent just decides like, oh, I can't win anymore, and they resign, even though they've got 20 life still. You just play out a Graph Digger's Cage, and if the opponent's all focused on the graveyard synergies, well, they immediately resign because they can't do anything against Soul Guide Lantern or Graph Digger's Cage or something like that. So I could keep up some stuff and kill one of his creatures, but I think I'll just ramp because I'm only taking 2 damage. We'll just pull some forests out of the deck here. Give me less chance to draw forests. Be drawing some of our better cards soon. But we're only taking 2, so. And yeah, once again, this offshoot is a pretty good, kind of early blocker to defend your life total, and it gains you life. Here's our Rot Shambler, one of our sacrifice payoffs. Once again, it's great with all those scions, like in the previous game I was making. All those scions, you could just constantly sacrifice them for mana and make the Rot Shambler bigger. I'm going to go ahead and get this started, just because I can make a 5/5 and untap the land. And then he doesn't really have a good attack. He can't finish my Planeswalker off, at least not with the current board state. Yeah, sadly I can't buff my 5/5 for a bunch of surprise damage. Yeah, even if he goes all at Nissa, that's okay. She'll just take 3. Okay, now we might have to hold back a bit. Oh hey, there's my Life Crafter. Get that going. Get our Rot Shambler going, and once again we just have our buff cards in hand. Go ahead and make a 5/5. So we can either block with it or just keep going with the beat down. I don't know. Kind of like beating down here, to be honest. I'm at 23. Pretty sure I have enough blockers. And let's just go ahead and get some more surprise damage in. And you know what? Let's just play this, because that's 15, so that's lethal since he didn't block. Well, there was 15/15 forest out of nowhere. That was a quick one. On to the next. So yeah, that's kind of a rare case, but most games with this deck are a little longer than that, but hopefully this time I can show off a bit more of the sacrifice synergies and whatnot. But this is a pretty good opener. I often start with the offshoot here as my blocker, and any land that comes down afterward is going to gain life. And we've got our Hydra with reach. So if the opponent can't remove it, it's pretty much alright. We got our From Beyond as well. Just need our lands. One more land. Let's go ahead and get the Advocate going since it does 2 damage and has Vigilance. Although I'm expecting the opponent to play something that like a 3/3 or something, and I can't really attack into it anyway. Yep, that's what it is. 3/3 Trample, giving all these creatures trample. Oh, but we got a Primal Bellows. Of course, the Primal Bellows is better late game. I mean, I can attack and he'll definitely block. But, you know, Primal Bellows can also just be a finisher later in the game, but we'll just go ahead and use it, take out his creature. Because that 3/3 can be annoying, giving all creatures trample, which can be scary. See, there's a scary creature that would have also had trample. Probably just fine taking 4 for now. And shoot, not draw my land, but we'll go ahead and get these Dryads out. Because they have Death Touch, so these are nice blockers to hold off, you know, big creatures. And of course, I don't mind them dying. I don't mind chumping with the 1/1s, and when they die, the Rot Shambler gets bigger. Gets +1/+1 counters on it, so if I can just get From Beyond down, we are pretty much golden. Oh, so he's gonna put a -1/-1 counter on that one, but still grows the Rot Shambler. Alright, drew the land. So gain some life, and we can get our From Beyond going. And that'll help get the lands we need for the Hydra. So, don't need any more lands really. We'll be good on mana for the rest of the game. Unless the opponent can somehow destroy the From Beyond. And once again, in this deck, the enchantment From Beyond has the sacrifice ability. You can sacrifice the enchantment and look for an Eldrazi of your choice in the deck. But you don't want to do that ever, because there are no Eldrazi in this deck. In fact, really the only Eldrazi card is the From Beyond, pretty much. So all we do is we have it here making Scion tokens, which are our mana and sacrifice outlets. When you do sacrifice them, make sure to float mana with them, which you can do in this format. A lot of people don't realize that you can float mana in Magic Duels, because it's not something that most people do. They just use the auto tapper. Well, he's got all those trample creatures now. Again. Okay, we can play our Hydra out if we sacrifice a creature. Guess I'll sacrifice him and make the Rot Shambler bigger. Get our Hydra going and grab another land. And we'll just hold off for now. The ground is going to get a little stalled here a bit, but I've got plenty of finishers in the deck, so we've got more giant Hydras, our Planeswalkers. If I can draw the Life Crafter, it'll be over pretty quick. But for now, things are going to get stalled for a few turns. Oh, he's going to play that. He's going to sacrifice anything? Nope. Well, that's good. I was going to say, the Rot Shambler, I could have grown in response. So, you can sacrifice things at will by tapping the scions to create mana. And that'll grow the Rot Shambler if you need to save the Rot Shambler. So I'm going to go ahead and just see if I can push some damage, see if he wants to double block, and I can surprise him here with the Might of the Masses. Alright. So we'll take out the Trampler and then the 2/2. Sadly, this doesn't have Trample, but if it did, could have gotten a nice chunk of damage in, but I'm just trying to reduce the number of creatures he's got. So I can start chipping away. Always one of the weirdest creatures in the game. The Serpiopod. A snake leopard. Yeah, somebody's imagination was running wild that day, that's for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice one of these, kind of show how this works. See, it triggers the Rot Shambler, and it created a colorless mana. And I did that just because I'm making another one anyway, so... Just going to slowly grow the Rot Shambler, but you can chump block with these scions and then sacrifice them to make a mana. And of course that'll trigger all the sacrifice creatures. But they create colorless mana. So sadly this turn I'm not going to attack with the 7/7 because he'll probably just trade 2 creatures for it. And the Hydra is always better. Ooh, the God with Death Touch. 5/5 Death Touch, indestructible. But of course I can chump block that one for days, so since I get a chump blocker every turn, and if the chump blocker dies or I sacrifice it, it'll just keep making the Rot Shambler bigger. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this, make a colorless mana, make my Rot Shambler bigger. Goes away end of turn, sadly, but I'll make another one. Yeah, we're kind of stalled here. So you know what? I'm just going to speed up the video. And hopefully draw our Life Crafter. Hopefully we don't draw too many more lands, but you know what? That's what happens. More lands, more lands. Let's just sit here and draw more lands. More lands. This is going to be one of the biggest board stalls in history. Okay, come on, no land, please. Oh, finally. So there's our Life Crafter at last. And yeah, the board was stalled there for quite a while. So I may just cut part of this video out just because there wasn't much going on there for about 5 or 6 turns. There was no attacking. The opponent was just building up an army, and I was building up an army of scions, and he doesn't have any good attacks. And so he's just been passing every turn. None of his attacks are viable, even with the Death Touch God. Well, there's a plummet that doesn't do much, so I'm going to go ahead and start creating big constructs here. 13/13. And then we'll just start attacking with the constructs and overwhelm him. So at this point, it's just kind of a waiting game. You know, if we were playing against an actual human, they would probably have just conceded at this point. But that's no fun. I want to see how much damage I can do with all these epic scions that I'm going to be producing. And if I draw my other Hydra, or the Gear Hulk, then we've got some nice big trample creatures that I could push through as well. But yeah, I don't see the opponent coming back from this. So now we got a 15-15, and each turn is just going to be another one that's 2 bigger than the previous. The reason I passed there is, you know, no point in attacking with the 13-13 because he's got the Death Touch God on defense. But as soon as I have, you know, maybe 2 creatures that are big, I could start attacking, and, you know, he can kill one, probably the bigger one, and then chump the other one. But eventually, oh, hey, well, we'll just end the game with Westvale Abbey instead, because this has been going on too long. So we'll go ahead and sacrifice 5 creatures, and these scions, I don't mind sacrificing. Sacrifice the one with Summoning Sickness. The Shambler gets gigantic, 11-11, and we've got our indestructible Demon Flyer. You know what? That was a kind of a misplay. I should have created a construct before I sacrificed all those creatures, because now the construct is going to be smaller. So kind of a misplay. You know, I should have done this first. Do the Life Crafter, because now the thing I'm making is only a 13-13, whereas it would have been 5 bigger. It would have been an 18-18 instead. But yeah, it doesn't matter too much, to be honest. They don't have trample, so but yeah, pretty big constructs. Cool artwork too. And if the opponent plays any flyers, you know, I've got that covered. But he doesn't seem to have any, so he's pretty much dead. Unless he can somehow take care of this 9-7. But yeah, a lot of times this is another finisher. The deck has plenty of different finishers, a variety of finishers in it. It is just slow to get going. Oh, and there's our Zendikar's Royale, so late to the party, but that'll produce even more tokens for us to sacrifice or attack with. Just for fun, let me create another construct. A 15-15, and yeah. Let's just go all out. He's got lots of good blocks, of course, but he's gonna die from the flyer. But hey, at least it's interesting to see what kind of blocks the opponent would have made. And there he goes, breaking up like a glass window. Alright, so now we've seen the deck in action, some varieties of how it works. Now let's try it in a two-headed giant round. So I'm here with my partner, Wild Boar. Wild Boar is playing something with Liliana, it looks like. And yeah, if you're wondering, a lot of people are wondering, but I am in contact with Wild Boar during the two-headed giant games. We are discussing strategies and whatnot. It's just he doesn't want his voice to be recorded, so it's just me doing the commentary, but we are in contact, making our plans together. Because that's how you do two-headed giant. It's a lot of fun, you know, talking to your partner and, you know, calculating and making a plan to take out the opponent. That's what makes this format just so much fun, is the cooperative teamwork that it's all about. And yeah, that fun has just been completely removed from Magic Arena. So no reason to play it because it just doesn't have two-headed giant, which is the best format ever. So not sure what kind of deck Wild Boar is playing. He's got a copter. Looks like some kind of zombie theme, but it's a 3-color. He's got the blue, white, black zombies. 3-color zombie deck, perhaps, with Liliana in there. We'll have to see. He creates his own decks as well, so I don't always know what to expect. Sometimes we coordinate what we're going to do, but a lot of times it's just fun to try stuff out. I just say, I'm going to do the landfall deck, and he just does his own thing, and we see how well they work together, or how we can coordinate. Go ahead and play out this evolutionary thing and a dryad. Oh, he's going to censor that, huh? Okay, well, no big loss for me. So that way Wild Boar can play something much more valuable, like the Plague Belcher. I don't really mind losing the Dryad. It would have been a good chump blocker, though, in all fairness, since it has Death Touch, but hey. A lot of times you want to, maybe play something first, especially if your ally, your co-op ally in Two-Headed Giant, has a really, really nice card that they want to resolve, and you think the opponent might have a, counter. Like there, you can bait out the counter on your side, and then your partner can resolve their really valuable creature. He's going to play another one of those. -1/-1 counter creatures, put it on his other one so that he has a big 4/4. So the opponent just wants to put pressure on us here, it looks like. But I think we'll be okay. No good blocks for us, but hey, we're probably doing all right. And yeah, some people ask me, if you're wondering, like, what is one of the best decks to play Two-Headed Giant. I made a video of it. It's called Surge, and if you and your partner do the Surge deck, it's just got amazing synergy with Two-Headed Giant. It's just so much fun to play double Surge. It's probably Wild Boar and I's favorite kind of team play is with double Surge, because you can trigger the Surge ability off of each other. So if you want a good deck, that's an awesome recommendation for Two-Headed Giant to play with your friend. Try out the Surge deck. And I have a whole video of that showing the playlist and all the cards in it. You can just copy that, and you and your friend can make the Surge deck, and then just both use the same deck, and it works great. I haven't really got to show off Evolutionary Leap yet. It's great for those Scions. If you remember our previous game with all those Scions I was producing, you can sacrifice those Scions, make a land, colorless land, and then search your library for an actual creature. So you're just sacrificing the token Scions and pulling extra creatures out of your deck with the Evolutionary Leap. And of course, each time you do that, the Briar and the Rotshambler, the two creatures I have down there right now, they will grow. So I'm going to play Nissa out because I need lands. You don't always want to play her out early, but if you need lands, it may be a necessary evil, just to make sure to hit your land drops. Wild Boar is going to play Dark Salvation. It's going to create 2 zombies and kill a 4/4. Yeah, Dark Salvation, just a awesome card. It's like a 1-mana, incredibly powerful kill card. And Dark Salvation can even destroy indestructible gods, indestructible creatures. And Wild Boar is going to take out the Nissa on the opponent's side because his creature has menace. So can't be blocked by the 4/4. It's a pretty nice play. Yeah, it's definitely looking like a zombie deck. He has multiple Liliana Planeswalkers in his hand. And once again, if you're in that situation, be careful. You cannot play both of those Liliana Planeswalkers out in this format. You'd have to sacrifice one. And I've made that mistake before as well. But sadly, that's just the way this format works. But this is the only format we can still play Two-Headed Giant. So our opponent played another 4/4. Kind of surprised the one across from me. Maybe he's mana screwed. He's got 4 blues there. Maybe he's missing a color, but he hasn't been playing much this game. Could be that he's just got a bunch of counters in his hand, like Censor, and he hasn't had a chance to play them. But we'll see. Go ahead and play out the tracker, play a land, trigger the tracker. Wild Boar is going to go ahead and play out Liliana, the Planeswalker, the Last Hope. Probably one of my favorites of the Liliana Planeswalkers. Shrink down his creature. Let's go ahead and sacrifice this. Oh, once again, the Briar, as you notice, triggered because I sacrificed that token. So even if you sacrifice just like a clue token, the Bloodwood Briar will trigger. So it's another great synergistic combination with the Tireless Tracker. You make the clue tokens, and then once you get a clue token out there, you sacrifice it. You can make the Bloodbriar bigger every time. And of course, doing so makes the Tireless Tracker bigger as well. So there's really awesome synergy there with those creatures. So he's going to play a 4/5, drop the -1/-1 counters on his small creature. Yeah, the other opponent's not doing too much. They do have more life than we do, but we're going to start taking over here pretty soon. Sadly, Wild Boar cannot play the other Liliana for now. But he's got plenty of other things to... Oh! So our opponent played the Drakehaven. So maybe he's planning to start making a bunch of 2/2 flyers. So flyers can be a problem for the zombie deck. The zombie deck doesn't have any real reach or easy way to deal with flyers. But that's why this landfall deck, I made sure to build in some anti-air. So get to convert my Nissa here. Let's go ahead and see what's on top. A land. Get to put that into play. Trigger the Tireless Tracker again. Wild Boar is going to trigger Liliana, shrinking down the opponent's bigger creature. I'm going to sacrifice a clue here, which triggers the Briar and the Tireless Tracker and the other Blood Briar. So creatures are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, drawing extra cards. Ooh, Oran Reef Hydra. Let's go ahead and draw some more. Wild Boar is gonna crew his Copter. I'm just gonna grow all my creatures some more, draw another card. So yeah, I'm kind of glad I got to show off this interaction here of how you can sacrifice the clue tokens and it triggers some of the sacrifice synergies. Looks like maybe Wild Boar wants to sculpt his hand. Nope. Guess he wants to keep what he's got. I was thinking maybe he would get rid of the second Liliana. But I could see keeping it. If he loses the first one, you can play out the second one. and Anguished Unmaking. And Wild Boar's hand is a good answer to the Drake Haven if the opponent tries to start making flying drakes. But he hasn't done too much this game. It's just the other opponent's been holding us off here for a while. Let's make a zombie. But yeah, I'm not sure if I should get my Gear Hulk down next. Or maybe the Hydra. The Hydra is great to get in as soon as possible just because every forest you play makes it +2/+2 bigger, and it has trample. So pretty nasty creature that you can push a lot of damage through. But yeah, once again we're kind of at a standstill here. The kind of a board stall. But I think we're in pretty good shape. Wild Boar is going to put out Jace. Now, of course, having Jace and Liliana is just fine. I think I'll go ahead and get this Gear Hulk started. And maybe I'll spread out the counters a little bit. And I gotta wait. Wild Boar is triggering Liliana. It's just plussing her again to shrink down the opponent's creatures. And now I gotta wait for him to do his Smuggler's Copter. Gotta learn to take turns. So, by the way, sacrificing, I'm sacrificing these clues. They do trigger the Bloodbriar, but they do not trigger the Rot Shambler. As you can see, the Rot Shambler is still a 1/1 because the Rot Shambler only triggers when creatures are sacrificed. Well, hey, that's a good one to have. There's my Death Toucher. Sadly, don't have Delirium enabled, but that rarely happens. So I think we'll just start pushing some damage here. I mean, yeah, he can double, triple block some of my creatures, but I'm fine with that. This Hydra in my hand is going to get ridiculous. So yeah, he's going to lose a lot of creatures here. Let's see, what's the most threatening? See, I'm doing 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that will stay for 8. Sadly, I can only kill one of these. Yeah, I'll just take out the 4/4. And it looks like Wild Boar paused. He does have Anguished Unmaking. So that'll save at least one of my creatures. So that was helpful. Did lose the Tireless Tracker, but that's okay. I don't think I need any more card draw, especially with my Nissa out there. She is card draw, basically. So our opponent embalmed his 2/1. And yeah, I'm really surprised that other opponent's not making drakes or anything yet. The one across from me seems to be mono blue something. Oh, there. Well, that could be why. His hand was maybe just full of gigantic creatures. I'm going to go ahead and use Evolutionary Leap, which will grow the Rot Shambler and the Briars. So if my creatures are big enough, it doesn't matter what he plays. And I got another Rot Shambler out of it, huh? I went ahead and did that just because, you know, the Death Toucher wasn't really relevant anymore. The opponent doesn't have any good blockers on the ground, and the Death Toucher isn't going to block the 5-3 at all. So, Wild Boar is sacrificing Evolving Wilds to get another black. I guess he doesn't need too much blue. Must just be splashing blue in that deck. But I want to get my Oran Reef Hydra going here. Let's see what Nissa can find for me. Oh, hey! There's my Life Crafter. Wild Boar is going to trigger Jace. Oh, and he's got the other 3 Liliana Planeswalkers. He's going to have to discard one of them. Kind of a tough choice, since all the Liliana Planeswalkers are great. But he's going to have to get rid of one of them. But in exchange, he's got the Jace Planeswalker now. So he's going to Last Hope the 5-3, but that just removes the shield. So sadly, that doesn't help. And I played my land early. I should have played my land after playing the Hydra. So a little bit of a misplay there. Oh, and Wild Boar, I guess, wanted to use Jace to shrink down the flyer. So I guess I could see how that interaction would work. And he's going to give all his zombies Menace. Menacing zombies are always scary. So we're going to go ahead and go for a big attack here. Go with my Trampler. These 2 Bloodbriars. And our opponent's going to have to do a lot of chump blocking. And he loses his entire board. I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice this other Rot Shambler. See if I can get something better. Because it'll take a while for the Shambler to get bigger. But yeah, good old evolutionary leap. And I evolved into a Jaddy offshoot. Great. Usually you get something better, but sometimes you're unlucky. So our mono blue opponent is finally playing stuff. Yeah, but he must have had a handful of big creatures and was just not able to play them out. But I don't think he can produce enough blockers to survive the coming attack. Unless he's got some kind of board wipe. But with 3 mana, I don't think so. Monument? That's not gonna cut it. The blue opponent, the blue opponent can make a couple flyers if he wanted to, but even that's not enough with all the trample we have coming in. And of course, Wild Boar has the Menace zombies. So yeah, all he's got to do is Menace, and the opponent just can't block enough. So he cashed in his Liliana for the Liliana emblem, which makes lots of zombie tokens. Sadly, the game is over, so we can't really have fun with it, but hey. Oh, and he milled Kalitas, sadly. But yeah, by cashing in Liliana, he could play out the other Liliana that was in his hand. And yeah, I'm just making my Hydras bigger here. I could have done Ormondal as well, but let's just grab some more forests. Gain some more life. The 7/7 goes up to a 9/9. Wild Boar is gonna trigger Jace. And yeah, we're just having fun now. Because that's what Magic is all about, is just having fun. Just have a good time. Another good one. Always fun to have. Play out the Advocate, because why not? And my Life Crafter. I might as well create a big token, as you've seen. It's always fun. Got a stack of creatures here and an 8/8. But yeah, that's going to be the end of our opponent, I'm pretty sure. Could probably just attack with all, but... yeah, he's actually going to try to block me, huh? Oh wow, he survived at 1. I guess Wild Boar was disappointed and he wanted to trigger his Liliana emblem just once. So now he's got 9 3/3 zombies there. Because yeah, once you get the emblem going, you know, why not have one fun extra round where you get your opponent down to 1 life. And then you can just attack with everything. It's gonna pull from tomorrow. Oh, now he makes a 2/2 flyer. Wow. Yeah, it must have been a pretty bad hand for that mono blue player. But yeah, that's another reason why this is really fun, because you know, if the game is going fun and you've got some interesting synergies going on, your opponent just doesn't, you know, quit at random and then all your fun is over. Because it's nice to, you know, watch the synergies that you built up in your decks. It's no fun when the opponent just quits. And he's gonna get Kalitas back from the graveyard. See, that's fun. I mean, you gotta admit, this is just too much fun. I'm gonna make me a 4/4. Wild Boar is going to make another zombie, play out his other Lord. He's got 2 Lord of the Accursed. Going to make more zombie tokens. We just got a stack here of zombie tokens. Running out of board space. That's okay. Let me just create another big artifact. 10/10. Trigger Jace again. Because yeah, we're just having fun now. Alright, and we'll go ahead and finish. Just attack with everything. See how much damage we can do. And there's lots more things I could do. I could sacrifice some creatures, but yeah, he went down to -13. And that's a win! So, really fun. Thank you, Wild Boar, for the game. That was definitely a lot of fun. Hope you guys had fun watching. -95! So that was a nice big hit. Always fun. Always fun to create a Shaya. So that was my Landfall deck and Wild Boar's zombie deck. I want to thank everybody for watching and hope you enjoyed us and hope you have fun in some two-headed giant games too. Check out my main channel, East Guru Japan Gaming, for more gaming content. A lot of fun stuff from Japan there. Link is in the description. And we'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for joining me. じゃあ皆さん、またね